Welcome to another edition of the MFFP. As always, it's John, owner of the Mouthpiece, with my co-host for the night. We got another guy, the man, the myth, the legend. Wait for it, Derry PC, owner of the Phantom. Currently freaking out about everything involving playoffs and his team. So what better way than to come talk playoffs with PC? Yeah, welcome, man.
Yeah, what's up? What's up?
He's so excited, y'all. Can y'all tell? All right, so we're just going to talk about the episode a little bit. It's going to be playoff picture, this week's games, and then kind of trades. Or this week's games first, and then playoff picture and trades. The unthinkable happened. We'll get to it. Somebody happened to blow up who never said he'd never do that. So we'll find out how that goes. This week we got some big matchups. Obviously, all the matchups the rest of the way are pretty much going to have playoff implications. We're going to start with me versus you. So obviously, we're doing this on Friday night. You clearly are not happy with Thursday night Josh Allen. You got to be happy with Thursday night James Cook. So, how you feeling? Where you at? Give me like a real one. Don't give me the pessimism view because I know you're going to tell me I'm going to win by 100. So
no, the real is you're getting me without three starters.
That's fair.
So I don't have A-Chain, I don't have Waddle, I don't have Ladd. So I'm starting in their place Chase Brown, which I can live with.
Yeah, I think that's a good.
He's been playing well. He's playing New England, but they've been playing tough against the run. Aaron Jones gets his first start since week 1, getting hurt, but he seems to be playing well. But I got Demario Douglas there, wide receiver, which makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
But listen. Like I'm going to play the positive side of this.
You go ahead and do that. I don't know how to do that right now, so you can.
Chase Brown is playing New England, but Burrow might play, so that helps. And even if not, Flacco's crushing it. He's been good enough to where Chase Brown has become relevant again. So starting Chase Brown is not a big deal. And again, the other side, you're starting Douglas, which guess what? He's playing Cincinnati. They give up a lot of points. You just need one pop play, and they're good for giving up one pop play. So if he gets you 12, right? If we get 50 and a tutty somewhere around there, you know what I'm saying? All right, you in business because everybody else is. JSN's got a plus matchup in Tennessee. Devonta Smith has the plus matchup in Dallas, right? Kills against Carolina, again, plus matchup. And you got 22 from Cook. The downside is Josh Allen. You'd like to see that number at least 20 to 25 to make you feel better. But truly, it's not terrible.
The only way that there's a chance is I need one or two of your guys to have the week they haven't had yet.
Yeah, I've shown up one of those weeks where I put up, when Cliff beat me, I put up 105 or something.
Yeah, I need one of those weeks where your guys don't do it and my guys do. But I know it's not completely out of the possibility. I know it's not completely lost, but the projections, I think it's 199 to 181. So it's within possibility. JSN's playing lights out. Kittle seems to be back. Aaron Jones is doing well. So like I said, it's a possibility. I'd feel a whole lot better if I had A-Chain and Waddle and Ladd in the lineup.
Of course.
But if I could somehow squeak it out.
But the plus side for you is I know it's crazy, but you're missing 3, but I'm also missing 2. Right? I'm not on bye, but London and Wilson are both hurt. So I'm starting Pearsall and T. Okay, cool, T, you say that. And I'm okay with that one. But Pearsall has done nothing because he's been hurt in and out the lineup. I'm hoping that he's finally healthy and we're going to get real Pearsall again. But I don't know that.
Right.
And he's my best option. So not having Drake London here is definitely a big deal for you, and it definitely could make a difference in what happens.
I'll tell you, the most important person of my weekend is Ramondre Stevenson. You saw he was back?
Yeah, that is probably your most important.
That's a huge.
Trevion is
huge.
We'll find out how much they actually dislike Trevion Henderson this week.
Right.
Because if he doesn't touch the ball 20 times still, New England's done.
So stupid.
He's been the best back in football arguably the last 3 weeks, and we're going to get the ball back to Ramondre.
So I think it's funny for the pod, just you guys could know, if nothing else summarizes my season, this does. So last night I'm driving out to a leadership meeting, an executive team meeting with Raph. We're driving out to Pastor Manuel's house, and service isn't the best in that neighborhood. I'm talking to Raph on the way there about should I sub out Josh Allen for Drake May. And you never sit Josh Allen, but Drake May's literally QB2, Josh Allen's QB1. So it's not crazy. We all go to the bathroom, and I'm like, you know what, screw it, let's just go for it. Josh scored 50. He's probably not going to do well. So I'm in the bathroom taking a leak, and I go make the change, but I guess I get out the app soon. I don't know. About an hour and a half later, I open up my phone. It's almost halftime, and Josh Allen was still in my lineup. So I'm not asking for it to be changed because I have no witnesses and I don't want to do anything like that. I'm not going to whine about it. It's just hysterical. It just kind of goes along with the way things are going. So what's going to happen, John, is Drake May's going to drop 40, and I would have beaten. What's going to happen is your team's going to underperform, and if had I started Drake May, I would have won, and I'm going to get eliminated from the playoffs because of bad signal at the Guerra House.
I'm gonna give you the other side of it and say that you're gonna beat me and it's not gonna matter, and Josh Allen's still gonna be your starter, so it's gonna be fine.
All right, beautiful. What's next?
Next one, the biggest one. I actually think this is the biggest one of the week for all, like, kind of seeing where everybody's at. It's Brandon versus Brady.
Yep.
This is literally the division, right? So, like, not only do they have 3 teams in, I don't necessarily think that any of them are juggernauts. I think that they're all really good teams. But I also think that they all could beat each other between him, Brady, Brandon, and John. I'm not going to sleep on Brian. I actually said that when we got here. I think the difference now, though, is all 3 of those teams made trades to get better. And Brian didn't, obviously, for obvious reasons. So that is the concern there, where what his odds of upsetting somebody got a little less. But you never know. I mean, Brady has real faith in Brian this week that he's going to smash John, which, I like it, so it's fine. But anyway, we'll go back to the Brandon and Brady matchup. I mean, it's almost a dead even prediction. Brandon's favored by 6 or 5.5. I think it could go either way. I think it just simply comes down to who gets a pop. And we kind of disagree on really, where that pop needs to come from. I think it's about who star shows up today. Like, JJ hasn't had one of these in a long time. He's really had, he's wide receiver 15, getting still 10 targets a game. So at some point he's going to pop. And it's at Green Bay. Big guy, big moment. Maybe this is the one for him. And then it's the other side. Like, is it Amon-Ra? Is it JT versus a good KC defense? Is it Theo Johnson? Well, that goes more about you. But, you kind of think it's got to come from somebody that's not one of those stars.
I think, especially for Brandon's side, I think if Brandon gets a JT game and an Amon-Ra game, I think the way that Brady's stars have been playing, I think Brandon might be able to have it. I'm picking Brandon in a nail-biter here, but, man, if Pickens plays like he's been playing, if AJ can continue what he did last week, he's freaking trash ball. But if he can continue what he did last week, I think that's different. And like you said, Aaron Rodgers is playing with a fractured wrist.
He may not play.
Right, it's him or Mason Rudolph, which I don't like really either one of those at Chicago for DK or Warren at that point, especially if they're playing with Mason Rudolph. So I think Brady's facing the tougher task of the weekend. Just Jacobs is down, things like that. But I do think that I think whoever gets the best performance by an other, as Shaq would call them, the others. I think whoever gets the best performance from a guy, whoever kind of goes over the expectations, I think wins it. Note Lamar is playing really well against the Jets, who let everybody throw all over him, and it's at home, so Zay could have a game. So, yeah, I'm leaning Brandon in a close one, but I'm leaning Brandon for this one.
Yeah, and I think that this one kind of sets up really what the rest of the division and playoffs could look like. If Brady were to lose this game, then it's going to actually set up he's got to beat John to have any chance to win the division the rest of the way, which would be kind of cool. Just to have major playoff implications, because that's always fun. So the last one on the list here, we'll kind of talk a little bit about that because we're going to get to playoff scenarios. But the last one on the list is actually Bryce versus Cody. The only reason this one's on my list, one, it's in my division, but two, it's kind of the last chance for Bryce to falter. If Bryce wins this game, he's essentially, I'm pretty sure he clinches. He'll get to 8-4. It is what it is, and he's in. He can't get caught to get knocked out of it. So this is the last one where you're like, okay, this should be a gimme, right? Cody wants to lose. Bryce needs to win. And he's favored, obviously, but this is the one that matters, and that's the only reason it's on here, because it is such a playoff implication this is the lock time. Nick you could say the same thing for Nick and Don, but the difference is Nick now also has Raph. So if Nick's not going to lose to both Don and Raph.
No.
That's not going to happen. So, Nick is kind of basically in already with that, and then so Bryce has to win one here, and look, you never know. Cody's winning to start. Bryce had a bad Nico game. you had, the difference was Bryce is starting Will Anderson, so that sucks for him. But the other side is Danielle Hunter, so the good games kind of wash. And Christian Kirk outperforms Nico Collins, so you got to feel like you got a shot here. It's not. You're not supposed to win, but you never know, man. Ferg at home against Philly. Dallas has not lost in 8 straight home division games. Fun fact. So, you never know.
I think if Cody didn't have Harvey on a bye, I think I'd feel because I need Cody to win this game as bad as I need to beat you. Actually, more than I need to beat you, because if Bryce loses, I can still catch him because I have the tiebreaker on Bryce at the moment. But
the 2 running backs on bye really hurt. I think if Cody has those 2, I think he has a real shot.
But we're starting Will Shipley here behind Saquon at Dallas.
Yep.
A primetime game here. So obviously I think Bryce is going to lock it up this weekend. And we'll get in playoff scenarios, but I think as long as Bryce's team does what they're supposed to do and nobody on Cody's team goes for 50, I think that'll be pretty much a done deal. So, Ted McMillan, if you're listening.
I'm literally saying Ted is my pick here. I'm saying Ted's going for 30 plus.
I need
playing Frisco.
I need a 45-point game
bunch,
on Monday night. I need Ted to bring this home for me on Monday night.
Make it a nail biter. That's really what I want. I just want this game to be semi-close with Ted to have a chance to win it on Monday night.
I just want to be able.
That would be awesome.
I want Bryce and I's season to come down to next week.
Listen, me and Raph talked about that a few weeks ago. I thought that was what it was. I thought you guys were going to have a chance at the very end, the second to last week of the year, to basically play for a playoff. Correct. Play for a playoff spot.
But Josh Allen got me 8 freaking points. So anyway, but yeah,
he's a little salty. It's fine. All right. So here we go. Here's the fun stuff. We're gonna move on into playoff scenarios. So who's in? What the current standings look like? And really what needs to happen for everybody to kind of get in and figure it out. So full disclosure here, the current standings, I am the 1, Nick is the 2, Brandon is the 3, Bryce is the 4, Brady's the 5, John is the 6. That is the current standings. Obviously, I have already clinched a spot. Not obviously there, but I have already clinched a spot, so I can't go anywhere. Whether I'm the 1 or the 6, it doesn't matter. Nick clinches with a win against Raph or Don at some point. So again, I just don't see that going anywhere. He's gonna win one of those games, which means he's the winner. Also means he's the. Well, he's still in a fight for the 2 seed. The 2 seed is actually not a lock either, but he wins and he's in. One of those 2 needs to make the playoffs. Brandon, Brady, John all have chances to win their division and all have chances to not make the playoffs technically. So that's a little interesting. Bryce is the one that's the closest also to clinching. Basically, Bryce needs to win this week versus Cody. If he does that, he's in. So we're going to go over the 2 people I think, obviously, now that have a chance to get in is you, Chris, and Cliff. I think there are those 2 people fighting to get themselves into it, basically with John trying to hang on. But it doesn't just include John. It does have to include Brady and Brandon as well, because they're only 1 game up. They can be caught by both you and Cliff. There are some weird scenarios there where they could technically fall out, but I think actually the winner of that playoff game clinches as well. Brady. I think the winner of Brandon clinches because they both can't go 0-3 because they obviously got to play each other. So the winner of that should clinch as well. So I'm really just gonna run down some scenarios here.
I'm pretty sure all 5 clinched it. 5 of the spots will be clinched this weekend. 6 should be the only one that isn't.
Well, no, not necessarily, because I think 4 of them.
Okay, 4, it's fine.
Because Brady versus Brandon, only one of them can clinch there,
and
then John can't clinch. So 4 of them could get locked up this weekend, just based on if it happens the way it's projected to happen. But we'll talk about them all anyway. Brandon has Brady, Brian, then John. Again, he's just got to win this weekend and he's going to clinch. The same goes for Brady. He's got Brandon, John, Brian. The deal with that division is they essentially all have a win locked up, but I don't think Brian's that bad. So I think that if anybody's going to get upset, I think it actually is. It could be one of those guys. So one of those guys could potentially go 0-3 Like, that is a possibility with Brian there giving you a shot. But I'm going to just go down to the two that I think we're going to talk about the most, which is Chris and Cliff, because I think they're the two most obvious to try to get a 6th spot here. And we're just going to kind of talk about how that goes. For the record, John is the current 6th seed. If John goes 2-1, he's in. You guys cannot catch him. Well, if John goes 2-1 and you lose, John's in. That's the easiest scenario for John to get in. John goes 2-1, you can't, like, you have to lose 1, he's in. Or if John goes 3-0, he's also in. That's the easiest way to go. So we'll go with you first. If you win out, you're in. There is no conversation. If you go 3-0, based on what it is, you're in.
I don't think so. If I go 3-0 and Elkins goes 3-0, Elkins is in.
You're right. Correct. Sorry. So you need Elkins to go. You need Elkins to lose 1. So, and then there's still a route for you to get there with 2-1. It's not as likely, but it's still not crazy. Because so, like, obviously y'all, like, there are 100 different ways that you could get in potentially with really crazy things that happen. I'm just going with the most likely scenarios if something were to happen for you to get in at 2-1. So if you go 2-1, you need John to go 1-2 and Cliff to go 2-1. So what ends up happening is you would all be in a 3-way tie and you have the points tiebreaker.
The only other thing I'll add to that too is if I need John or Brady to go 1-2 and me go 2-1.
No, Brady's
right,
2 off
right.
above you. It's just John. John's only 1 game above you, which is why you can catch him. So it's you 2-1. John has to go 1-2. Cliff has to go 2-1. It creates a 3-way tie between Cliff, Chris, and John. And Chris owns the point scored tiebreaker. So you would do that. I mean, the only way that would happen differently is if Elkins went nuts in losses, like completely nuts in losses, and you went not very good. Like, he's down 160 points to you. So he would have to go.
I'd really not like to talk about how many points I've scored. If we could skip that.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
There are 2 teams in the league with over 2,000 points. One is number 1 seed. One is number 8 seed. You can guess which one is which.
Yeah, I mean, that's a true statement. That's why we've been a believer in you all year, because point score is generally a pretty good indicator of wins, and that's just not been your luck so far. So
It is not.
the other way that you get in, oddly enough, if you go 2-1, Brady goes 0-3, you're in.
Come on, Brian.
So, yeah, I mean, that's the same. That's it. That's the two. That's
It
the two.
wouldn't be giveaway wins by the 2 expansion teams that are going to keep me at the playoffs, right?
No comment. Not the expansion coming back to bite you again. That's fine.
Calm down, guys. Calm down. Making a joke.
I'm not. I'm over it. Get rid of it. I'm ready to bounce. Because if I'm not an expansion team, I don't get traded with. So it's fine.
Calm down. We'll get there. We'll get there. Calm down.
Cliff.
Calm down.
Cliff to get in. Those are your two. I think those are your two most likely. If you go 2-1, obviously, if you went out, I think you're in. I don't foresee it the other way, where you're gonna have to worry about it. I do think Brady, John, Brandon will beat each other up. That's my. I think they're all too similar teams and too close. Even with the trades by John,
We'll get to that.
like I still think that they're all still pretty close and similar. They could all beat each other, and I think it's very unlikely that anybody goes 3-0 or 0-3. Just again based on their quality. So we'll see. I think that's the most likely though for you to get into 2-1. Cliff has a chance here. Cliff has to win out, and John go 2-1, and then Chris 2-1 at best. So he does have to have you lose, because he'd have the 3-0 and he'd beat you by that. He beat John straight up, so he would be in over John. He does have a route to get in if he goes 2-1. If he goes 2-1, John has to go 1-2. You have to go 1-2, and he gets in.
That would be wild if he got in. Because he like bought in and then sold and then bought in
back in again
and injured. It would be a crazy turn of events.
Yes.
If he got in.
I mean, the perennial sleeper, right? Like, that is he finds a way to get in, and yeah. He's also the master of, having a really great team and giving it away, and then figuring out that he still has a pretty decent team, and then trying to get back in and then giving it away. And, he probably did have day one best team that he traded away, before we ever started. So
This is true.
it's who Cliff is as a fantasy guy. It's fun. It's fun for the league. I'm here for it. Yeah. So Cliff has 2 options. I think he wins out, And then obviously the 2-1, 2-1, or he goes 2-1 and you need 1-2, 1-2, which I actually think are pretty decent ways to get in. Like again, like he doesn't have to win out, so he doesn't have to beat Nick. He just has to beat the two bad teams now, which he should do rather easily.
Mm-hmm.
And then he needs John to only beat one of
The two teams.
Brandon and Brady, which is very feasible.
Mm-hmm.
And then he needs you to only beat Cody, which again could happen. Like, not that you're supposed to do that based on your team, but like that could happen. Of all the scenarios for Cliff, I actually think it's easier for Cliff at 2-1 than, I think it's more likely that I guess not. He's literally just got to beat Nick. If he beats Nick, he wins out.
Right.
And then he just has to hope that I beat you. Like that's, yeah. I think based on the division, I actually think that Cliff has a clearer path because of the division and what he needs less of.
Yep.
But so those are the playoff scenarios. I think I'm gonna say that John sticks in at 6. That's the way I think it finished. I think the 6 that are in are the 6 that are in. That's just what my gut says. I think that. I mean, look, but that doesn't mean anything because literally this season has been wild. Like it's just the way it's going. So
I think
what looks like it's gonna happen it hasn't.
I would say John raised his floor high enough with the trades that I'll be shocked if he doesn't go 3-0. I just would because he already had a lot of firepower.
Mm-hmm.
The RBs just raised his floor.
Yep.
But Cliff basically has a lock at 2-1. So John really needs to play to the potential of his team and not lay any eggs.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think at worst Cliff is 2-1, and that means he's got to go get it.
Yeah.
And if Cliff happens to beat Nick, John's got to win them all.
Right.
That's look.
And Lord help everybody if I beat you. That's all I'm saying. Y'all don't want me in the playoffs. I'm telling you. I'm gonna be the highest scoring team in the league in the playoffs. I'm just gonna be at home watch.
I'm just letting you know. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I want you in this because I want to see the crazy, but I also don't want you in this. I do happen to own your first. So just for the league to know, if Chris doesn't make the playoffs, I will again own 3 of the first 5 picks. Just in case anybody wants to know that. Not that it matters because again, I can't trade those picks, so it doesn't make a difference. Sorry.
Go to the next point, bro.
So we're at trades. We're on to the fun stuff.
Yeah.
What a week, and it was. This is why everybody kind of kept saying, why is the trade deadline so late? Why is the trade line? Because of this stuff. Like, this is why the trade deadline is so late. Because if it would have been Tuesday, like if it would have been this Tuesday, we would have missed all of this stuff. Because everybody would have been not really sure and this and that. And then, like, I just think leaving it extended gives you more time and space to kind of figure out, all right, can I make a run? Do I want to make a run? What are my options to make a run? And then things like Raph happen, where Raph sees the playoff picture and says, you know what? I probably can't win it. This is the best value I can get from my players. Even though they're not performing well, this is the youngest they're going to be. And I can move on and get a good return for them. And he doesn't. I never thought Raph would have a full blow up. I thought that he would kind of continue to do what he had done. But we'll get into it. All of these involve Raph except for one. So this is going to be a Raph-driven segment. Thanks, Raph, for a little entertainment. So... again, why the trade deadline is backed up is you want to see movement and you want to see teams making decisions on their season. And that's what we saw, which is always exciting, and it always changes the dynamic of the end of the season. So, first one, Raph trades away Pittman, Flowers, and Jawan Jennings to Brandon for a 28 first, which is Brandon's, a 28 second, which is Don's, and a 27 second, which is mine. I hate this trade for him.
For who?
For Raph. I hate this trade. I feel like he did not get enough value in this trade. And again, it was the one, because he doesn't get enough value because he didn't advertise it. Mm-hmm. Like, this is the one that Brandon just texted him, or I assume Brandon texted him, or whatever. And like Pittman and Flowers could each get a first for themselves. We're not even talking about Jawan Jennings, and I don't even consider Jawan Jennings being that big of a deal. But like, if you're talking about getting max value and you're talking about, all those things, I don't think you got enough for the Pittman, Flowers, Jawan Jennings deal. And again, for all you people out there, you don't want backdoor deals if you're a seller, because if you get a backdoor deal as you're a seller, you lose. Unless you're getting stupid overpay, right? If somebody's gonna offer you AJ Brown for Rojo, you take it. You don't need to advertise that because that's what it is, right? But if you're offering and thinking about making that, like, you always make it public because you're gonna get more from people. Like, people are going to overpay. I.e., right now, Raph makes that deal. I know that he had the next one lined up to get his own first back. We all knew that ahead of time because Don had his first. So, like, it didn't matter what he got for the 1 and the 2. He's going to get his first back in 27.
Which I think for Raph's side, I do think he could have got more value. I don't think he could have got that much more value because I don't think Juwan Jennings carries that much. I think you could take the first for Pittman, or if I would take the first for Flowers, throw the 2 seconds on Pittman. Then you got to figure out what you're taking for Jennings. So I do think that Raph could have got more. I don't think he could have got that much more.
Even if it's a second round pick, though.
And I think
like a second round pick is a big deal.
I agree, but I think what he gets by getting his first in 27 is a big deal. So he got the assets to go get that first because he was going to have to pay for that once it got up that he was blown up. So while I do think he could have got more value, obviously, I don't hate it for Raph. I love it for Brandon. But while I don't hate it for Raph,
I agree with that. I'm saying that, though, like, he literally he essentially gave up a second round pick.
Right.
And then gave up a second round pick again to get his first back.
Right.
So, like, you basically, you traded 2 legitimate starters, right? 2 legitimate starters for a first and a second. Mm-hmm. You gave up Flowers and Pittman for a 1 and a 2.
Right.
That's not good. Like, I don't care if it's the project. You're not even arguably the projected 1-1. Like, even if, like, okay, and if you are, right, because he still has 26 picks again. Don does not. Don does not have his own 26. So Don's going to be just as bad next year as he was this year. Brian will be better. Cody will be better. I'm with it. So, like, you're going to be in that 1 to 3 range. I'm not disagreeing there. But, like, you still traded Pittman and Flowers for a hopeful that you're 1-1 or 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
I just think I think you could have gotten more.
Well, again, we're talking about the guy who this is his first time doing this. He don't know what he's getting into yet to blow up life.
He should. He understands values.
As
much as I disagree with his trade style, right? Like, we talk about player, he's done a pretty good job of making the moves that he felt made him better, and he's won 2 titles. So, like, there's no, like, clearly he's identified pieces that he likes and thinks are good and they've paid off. And he's done that. So identify the pieces you like, and hopefully it'll pay off. And again, maybe that's what he's doing, and he gets his first back, and I understand it.
He gets his first back.
But, like, and look, maybe it is the right way to look at it. Would you trade Pittman and Flowers for the 1-1? Yes, you would. Even if it's a year away, you would trade Pittman and Flowers for the 1-1. I just think you could have traded Pittman and Flowers for the 1-1 and 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And
no, I get what you're saying for sure.
But again, it is what it is. Backdoor deal. I think it's a bad decision in that regard. Starting the blow-up process is not bad. On the other end of that, I agree with you as well. Brandon, that's a home run. I think Brandon, what's even crazier, this is the stuff that really does blow my mind with this stuff. Brandon didn't want to give up any 26s, and because everybody all of a sudden just hates the current draft class, which is, insane, Brandon still owns 4 firsts. Mm-hmm. So he did all this, bought in, and still owns everything that he said he wanted to do coming in. So not only did he buy in, he bought in and retained the future, which is what you're supposed to do.
Good.
So, like, I don't understand. I don't get it. I literally don't get it. Doesn't make sense to me.
I think Brandon.
In case everybody's unaware, only one person can get Jeremiah Smith. There's only one of them. Like, and who else is in the draft class? Like, everybody wants to talk about 27, and I'm going to go on this tangent because it aggravates me. Who's in 27? I want everybody, when you hear this, to text me who you love in the 27 draft, not named Jeremiah Smith or Ryan Williams. Just, that's it. Find somebody else in the draft class that you love right now.
I don't know enough of the names because I'm not paying enough of attention. But on every Debbie ranking, there's more 27s in the top 15 and 26.
Yeah, that's how it always works. Because they're projected.
Not how it always works.
Because they're projected.
That's not
they're
how
not
it
in
always
front
works.
of you.
The 23 class was over the 22 class the entire time, but it's proven to be the case.
I'm just telling you. Like,
I'm just saying the 22 class was good.
Yeah.
The 23 class has higher ceilings on all of their dudes, and the 23s were ranked higher than the 22s on the Debbies.
Are they?
The dudes that hit. The hit rate on the 23 is higher than the hit rate on the 22's ceiling wise.
Okay. JSN and Neighbors? That's what we're talking about?
No, JSN, Gibbs, Bijan, A-Chain.
Okay.
And then Addison, Flowers are in that, and there's dudes on, and Laporta's in there as well.
Yeah, but those guys weren't neighbors. I mean,
Kincaid,
Bijan, Gibbs,
JSN.
JSN, I agree with. Those three were above everybody else and would have been above the 22s regardless of situation because those were the studs.
Yes.
But everybody else you just talked about was just as even as all those other people.
Agreed.
So like,
but what I'm saying is if I stock up on 27s because I think there are more dudes in 27 than dudes. 22 had one dude, Breece Hall, who I would take.
I would argue he wasn't even a dude. Like,
that's fair.
Truly,
but
like,
I will take.
He was the consensus 1-1, but I think that was because there wasn't a consensus 2 through 7. Like I think that he was just a tier above, but I don't think that he was the. I never felt like Breece Hall was going to be the. I never really thought he would be a top 3 back. Again, situation matters. Goes to the Jets. I freaking bought 2 of those guys, so like I know what that looks like, and I still love both of those guys as players, right? But I moved Breece Hall this year simply because of I don't think the ceiling matches the value that I could get for the ceiling later, which is what I did, which I understand. But I just think it's crazy to like. You have to be very careful of shipping for 2 or 3 years down the line, and just like it just I don't know. I think that there's got to be layers to it. Like Raph's going to ship now and just sit here. Like he's not going to play next year. Essentially, that's what's going to happen because he has no 20. Like he does have a couple. Like he does have a couple.
I did it that way though.
It's just a lot. Like
I told when we talked about it, I said, look, I'm just letting you know. The next 18 months are going to be boring.
Yeah,
that's what I told him.
I took one. Like. Again, as well. Like, I took the one before the 22, so I get it. I just think, I don't know. I just think the load up is the 27, and it better be everything everybody wants.
I have a feeling 26, 27, 28 are going to be like 22, 23, 24.
Okay.
I think 26 and 22 are going to be dudes that land in good spots, but they don't have the high ceilings. I think 27 is going to be 23, where there's 3 to 4 absolute studs that may get off the ground slower, and then 28. I don't know why. When you look at the names,
how it goes.
Right? And the 28 class will be the ones who are like these dudes come out of nowhere. Other than you had Harrison and Neighbors, and the rest of those dudes, nobody knew who they were the year before. Nobody was talking about Lamb McConkey. Nobody was talking about Xavier Worthy the year before.
Yeah, I agree with that. They had good senior years.
They had good senior years, and that's what it's looking like. Being very cyclical. NIL college football is different, obviously, but. I think the trade that slipped under the radar is the one Cliff made.
Which one is that?
When Cliff bought Kyron.
Yeah, this next one. The next on the list. So the next one we're going to talk about. Raph trades away Kyron and Leonard Williams, who Leonard Williams is a nothing in this, to Cliff for Bryce's 26-1 and John's 28-2. Again, yes, I agree with you. I think that's an exact value of where Kyron is valued.
Right.
So again, it's a bad trade on Rap's end.
I think it is. I don't think it's a bad trade on Rap's end. I get what you're saying, but I don't think it's a bad trade on Rap's end. I think it is. You're selling a first and a second comes in for one dude.
Oh no.
And
I'm just being petty.
I understand. I'm trying to bring balance to the force here. But what I want to talk about Cliff's side for a second.
Yes.
Okay, Cliff has Neighbors on IR, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's got
Cam on IR.
Yes.
Scat.
Sorry, Cam Scat on IR, but he's got Harrison, Chase, Neighbors, Burrow. So he's got a very solid core of guys there that he can work with, and then he's sitting on. Now he adds Kyron, which raises that floor tremendously. Cliff is not a team that I'm glad Cliff ain't in my division next year.
No, Cliff's team got a lot better, and this is a good move for Cliff because of his age of his team.
Correct. Kyron doesn't necessarily.
Everybody's young, including even the Kyron thing. Like, listen, and to be fair, Kyron is the number 1 underrated player on my radar in fantasy football. No one values that guy accordingly. Correct. Like, he is a perennial top 10 with a top 3 upside every single year, and somehow every single year he gets traded for like a late first. Like, every single time.
He reminds me of the way everybody treated Frank Gore.
Yeah. Like in the prime, but he's arguably better. Like
no,
Kyron
Franco
touchdowns.
was boring.
Yeah.
You didn't see
Right.
highlights of Franco ripping them off down the field. You don't see highlights of Kyron running for 60-yard plays necessarily all the time, but Kyron's consistent, puts the ball in the end zone, gets you good carries, gets a lot of touches.
But the only guy we saw highlights of ripping it off going, down the field is at halftime is AB, and that's a sore subject for Brady. So I need you to be okay.
This dude here.
It's okay. It's all right.
But that was a reach.
It's
That was a reach. That was a reach, John.
Yeah,
that was a stretch on some side reach.
He's the only guy that's a little hurt by somebody ripping it off down the field halfway. It's fine.
I feel like that might need a pause.
I mean, you said that, not me.
I understand, but I'm just catching it.
Probably
right?
does.
Shout out to
again.
Ray
It's only AB, so it's he's the only.
All right.
But regardless,
the next one.
I don't. Again, I'm being petty there. I don't hate it for Raph. Again, I just think he could have gotten more value, and I'll say that about all of them because I always think you can get more value. But
you basically think every trade can get more value for the most part, except the next one.
Yes, exactly. Exactly my point. Point proven,
one.
right? All of them can get more, and even if it's a third, and this is the deal, like people don't think about this stuff, but like when you're blowing up, you want as many dart throws as possible. You might not value thirds. I don't care about third round picks either. But you know what it does? Dude, if I got 2 shots in the dark and I'm starting nobodies, I might as well take the shot in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
Like Puka's a perfect example, right? Like if I got 3 of those thirds and one of them happens to be Puka, win.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a throw into a trade that's irrelevant. Like, and again, like not to beat a dead horse, but like Kyron, and I'm saying Leonard Williams is a throw in. Why is Leonard Williams even a part of the trade? Like if Cliff, it's not like Cliff threw it back to Raph because Raph didn't want to drop a guy or something. He included Leonard Williams. So Leonard Williams has to be included in the valuation. You're not just throwing players in for free to help Cliff. And if that's the case, Kyron is deserving of a first and a second by himself. Leonard Williams deserves something, whether it's a third, a fourth, a fifth. It could be anything. Get multiple fifths. And again, it might not matter. He might not care. But like, get him thrown in. They're nothings to you. You're going to fill your roster with a bunch of nothings because you're in rebuild mode. So get everything that you can get because dart throws matter. Like, I don't know.
Let's get to the big one.
So this big one, full disclosure here, me and Raph had talked about, and I'll get to the whole thing of why I'm actually being petty, but me and Raph had talked about multiple of these players, and then it got to the Henry Saquon conversation. Literally, he said, "This is the offer." I said, "Don't even talk to me about it. You should have already accepted the offer." Like that was my literally what I'm like, go immediately take the offer. And this is what he said. So Raph trades away Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley to John for a 26 fourth, which is John's, a 27-1, which is Bryce's, a 27-2, which is John's, a 27-2, which is Bryce's, and a 28-1, which is John's. Now, I love this trade for Raph because he got max value. You got 2 firsts, 2 seconds for, I would argue, a first and 2 seconds for Saquon is about right. Probably not even that high, truly. But about right. I would say that's what I would want to get for Saquon if I was moving him and he was a little older and I was trying to sell him. That would be the bare minimum. And then you got a first for Henry still, which I still think is an overpay. Like, I think getting a first for Henry at his age and the way that they've looked, regardless of how you think he did, okay. I'm in for that as a blow up. And then, again, this is the good one. You get a fourth thrown in for nothing. Like, I think that's whatever. Like, even value, 2 firsts, 2 seconds for those 2 guys from a contending team is probably right. And you got a fourth thrown in for nothing because nobody cares about the fourth round pick. Which, again, awesome. That's a good job. That's a home run. That's what it's supposed to look like.
Mm-hmm. I think just looking at it, I personally think that if John doesn't win the title, he regrets this trade.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good move for John.
I don't like this trade for John at all. Not because of Saquon, but because of Henry. I think he paid value for Henry, and I mean, what is it? Henry's running back 14, but you're not. Like I said, if you don't win the title this year, you don't buy Derrick Henry to be running back 14. That's not why you buy him.
I mean, look, it's an all-in move. I don't agree with the all-in move, but it is an all-in move.
I think what's also needs to be pointed out here, and I'm just looking at this right now, okay? He's got he's got Bryce's 27 first and second.
Who?
Raph in this trade.
Yes.
Now, looking at Bryce's team, Bryce improved this year, but Chris Olave is 1 concussion from retirement.
Y'all keep saying that. I think the being slept on Chris Olave, the disrespect is unbelievable.
I'm just
unbelievable.
He's a great player. I'm not talking about his talent.
Yeah, but that, like, when has that been a problem? We haven't even talked about it. He has not even, like, gotten dinged this year.
No, because Derek Carr's not throwing him hospital balls.
Right. Well, Derek Carr's not on the roster anymore.
I know, but all it takes is one.
And Kellen Moore's not stupid.
But all it takes is one.
Right, but it's not, again, it's not
takes
Dennis
one.
Allen.
It just takes one.
Does it?
It takes one.
Because Tua's still playing.
But that's
Like,
stupid.
It doesn't take
Tua
just
don't
one.
think they ever play.
Olave doesn't either.
Chris Olave makes me very. All I'm saying is, I'm trying to make a point here.
We'll make your point because it's the disrespect on Chris Olave is.
It's not disrespect. It's a simple take that Chris Olave, I think, is high risk. That's what I'll label him. I think he's high risk, not because of talent, because of his concussion history.
So can I make a counter to that? Then?
Sure.
You don't feel that way about, like, is it only for concussions? Like, are we just putting concussions in its own bubble, or are we just talking about injuries?
I'm talking concussions in the
So
bubble.
Knee injuries don't matter, back injuries don't matter, none of that stuff
because they don't have a
matters.
stigma.
That's insane. That's bad. That's bad fantasy management by whoever decides that discussion.
That's fair.
Whoever makes that decision is just not. It's like, and a guy like Ladd McConkey is a perfect example. Ladd McConkey literally had trouble staying on the field at Georgia, and then has still had trouble staying on the field at times with the Chargers, and it's the same thing. And Chris Olave,
It's not concussions.
it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
It doesn't.
That's where we can disagree. It matters narrative wise in the league, the way they talk about it, the way they approach it, the way they baby it.
Though? Right.
The league.
Okay, but who? Again, what skilled player doesn't play football anymore because of concussions? What skilled player?
I don't give you a list off the top of my head.
Because there isn't one. There isn't one. We're just
There
talking
are
about Chris
several
Olave
careers
that are
who have
shortened.
ended prematurely
Fair.
by
What?
too many concussions.
I
Several.
can't name any. And again, I'm probably wrong there. I'm saying there are some. I am guaranteed.
I found out I was on this pod 30 minutes before
I
it
agree.
started, so I don't have my.
I'm not
what I'm
attacking
saying
you
is,
there.
what I'm looking at here is,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
got
keep making your
Puka,
point.
he's got Nico, he makes the trade for Brees. Is Javonte
I
real?
think that's the bigger question.
Right? Is Javonte the guy moving forward in Dallas? I love Javonte. I'm happy for him. I think it's great. I watch him with a tear in my eye every week. But
He's also a guy that has an injury
year,
history.
right?
So,
But
like,
a full year from now,
right.
is Bryce's picks 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, or Bryce's picks 3, 4, 5, 6?
I think they're in the middle of that.
But my whole point being is this, though. Raph makes this trade, and these are late firsts. I think that there's a betting chance that they're mid firsts, or potentially even earlier, depending on what Bryce does. Because if Bryce loses, if he comes out next year 0-3, 0-4, 1-5, whatever, does he start selling some of these pieces to try and get picks? Again, because he sold this year trying to buy in to get better, but I don't love his moves.
It's fair.
Right? And so I think
Bryce is surviving on the classic, like, these are my starters, and this is what we're doing.
Right.
And if they go down, he's in trouble.
Right.
But he's not right now. Like,
No.
and he owns a few of those guys. Nico is injury proven. Puka's got injury issues. Brees Hall has had injury issues. Chris Olave has injury issues.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I agree with what you're saying wholeheartedly. I think I agree with you. I think it's a home run for Raph for the exact same reasons. It's the same reasons that I own Bryce's 28 first. I'm in the same boat here. Like, I own
that's
that
what I'm
pick.
saying. I'm saying right now, on paper, this trade is an overpay. Right now.
Yes, and it could get better.
It could get even better. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
Yes.
Before you bit my head off about
Sorry.
my Chris Olave take.
I hate the Chris Olave take because it's
I
not
understand.
just yours. It's not
I
just
want to let y'all
yours.
know
It's
this is the most petty I've seen John in a very long time.
It's just annoying. Like,
So
I
y'all think I'm the petty one. We'll see how this goes.
I'm not even the Chris Olave
But-
thing is not even the petty thing. The Chris Olave thing is
Back to
weird.
John.
I just don't like
Real
the Chris
quick.
Olave hit.
I don't want to.
The guy is like third in the league still in targets. That's what you want in a receiver. A dude that's getting the ball thrown to him, and he's getting the ball thrown to him. Anyway, sorry.
I just want to say
Sorry.
that I think John
Yes.
Elkins
Yes.
is positioned really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern for him, is Hampton. What is Hampton going to be? What he look like?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that a little bit of flash in the pan? We don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Is Genty screwed by his O-line?
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a few scary takes of him having some Trent Richardson vibes.
Ooh, I don't buy that, but
I don't buy it either.
I hear what you're saying.
But that so,
Mm-hmm.
I think that matters because he traded away a lot
Mm-hmm.
of potential value to get aging players.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I think his rebuild has been phenomenal.
I thought his rebuild was phenomenal until about 2 months ago. And now I think it's not very good.
I think he's so.
Well,
I think he bought in.
I do think, right, correct. He just preached about being patient the whole time. He's like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And then he did it. Like, as soon as Neighbors got hurt, it was we're not waiting anymore. We're going to get it.
Yeah.
Like, and I am not even hating of that trade there. Like, to be fair to him, if he doesn't make that trade, he doesn't make the playoffs because now Laporta's gone for the year. So if he's not, right, he's starting Loveland every week, and that's not really. I mean, you could have made a lesser trade, I guess, to go get a guy, right? But like, you don't want to have to start Loveland if you're trying to win a title. Brian Thomas for him has been unfortunate, which is true. But like, my whole deal is he made multiple of these moves. He made the Chuba and Devontae. He got two Asian guys. Chuba's now been replaced by Rico Dowdle, arguably, and Devontae Adams is 32 years old. Like, again, this is the Mike Evans syndrome. He's wide receiver 8 right now, but at some point he's going to be wide receiver 40. Like, and you're going to be left holding that bag. If you don't win a title, then it's just an all-in move for right now.
Right.
And I get it. If you win it, like you said, and I agree, it's the same thing Raph has all the time. Like, if you win it, it's worth it. And I am in agreement. If he wins it this year, it's worth all the moves, and it doesn't matter because he won a title.
Right.
But going forward, right, with all the win now moves, John now has his own first this year. He has Brian's second this year. It's the only first and second. In 27, he owns neither. He has not a first or a second. And now in 28, he only owns one, and it's yours.
Right.
Like, so he went from the guy that had the treasure trove to the guy that now owns 2 total firsts in 3 years.
And
that's a hard pill.
it is. And I think I think it all matters. You get the ring this year because by the time you're getting to that 28 first, Henry's retired, Adams is retired, Saquon is probably an afterthought.
Right, Saquon's I'm not saying he's an afterthought, but right, again, he's running back 15 to 20.
Did
right?
Bucky Irving just lose his job?
I know.
I'm just saying, man.
I know.
I'm just saying. Anybody on Brandon's team is hot. I'm just saying. Did Bucky just lose his job? We don't know.
The
Brian
side,
Thomas, what's Brian Thomas's deal?
I think that's actually the harder part for John. Like, and look,
I don't think Bucky lost his job. I'm just throwing out hot takes here.
But he gets Ibuka and Rice, right? That's his 2 wide receivers. When you go look at the wide receivers, that's all he's got. Like, if Brian Thomas is not who he was last year, what's he going to do at wide receiver? Like, Jaden Higgins, I mean, I like Jaden Higgins, but he's not Nico right now. And if he is, he's 4 years out from that.
Yeah.
Right? Romeo Dobbs, nope. Quentin Johnson started out real hot, has shown you. I don't know that you love him, right? Jameson going to finally take a step? Is that what's going to happen? Because currently he's still wide receiver 30. Like,
right.
Trey Tucker, I don't want any more part of that Vegas offense. That's his wide receivers with 2 firsts left. So, like, in running backs, he's fine. He'll survive the 2
No, what he'll have
things.
to do is if he doesn't win it this year, he's got to move one of the best to get a receiver.
Yeah.
Or he's got to move Hampton. I think he's got to move Hampton or Barkley to get a receiver.
I think he can move Barkley next year and be fine. I think
don't get a pick. Because now you're competing now.
Correct.
Like, you've done moved it. You've got Bowers. You traded for Jackson and Bowers. You traded Neighbors. So now you're trying to compete. Don't trade Barkley for a pick.
I agree.
Trade Barkley for a receiver.
I agree.
Next.
All right. We're going to skip the one that I'm going to talk about for a long time and go to the last one.
Remember, they don't listen after it's a long time. We've been
all right, well, it's 48 minutes. That's fine. They'll figure it out. These are good stuff. This is good conversations. You people stick around for the good stuff. Anyway, or you can fast forward later, I guess, but whatever. Brian gives Woody Marks to Brandon for a 28-2, which is Cliff's. I think that is a slam dunk trade for Brandon. Mm-hmm. I think Woody Marks could be the running back 1 in that room, and I don't understand this move from Brian at all. Like, why you drafted the guy? I think he was a 3rd or 4th round pick. Why do you trade a second for him 3 years from now?
I'll be honest.
That doesn't make any sense.
I really have. This is the first move Brian's made, other than trading his first. When he traded his first for all that capital.
I love that trade though.
I was back then. I thought Harrison was going to be Harrison, who we thought he was going to be, and he's not.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be another Chase.
Even then,
but
I think when you're rebuilding,
I get it. I get it. But this is the only move that he's made that I'm like, ugh, I don't really care for that at all.
Yeah.
It's the only move he's made. Brian, I thought Brian's done a fantastic job doing handling what he was given when he came in.
What's crazy is Brandon only had to give up a second to fill his biggest hole on the team.
Yep.
He gave up a pick 3 years from now to fill the only hole in his roster, which was RB2. He didn't have an RB2, and went and got Woody Marks, who I think is just fine to start as an RB2.
Yep.
Brandon becomes a championship contender with. Brandon becomes a championship contender with giving up a first and 3 seconds. He gave up a first and 3 seconds and got 2 starting receivers and 2 starting running backs.
And let's not
3 starting receivers and a running back.
Let's not forget that 3 of those picks are 3 years from now.
Like, it's insane.
Good job, Brandon.
Whew, great job,
Good
Brandon.
job, Brandon.
Everybody was begging on you to buy back in, and you crushed it. Like, you bought back in, and people were just like, yeah, we want Brandon to buy back in. We're gonna give it to him to buy back in. We're gonna let him buy back in we're gonna give him the brother discount. He might as well have had Rodriguez across his back for that discount. You know, it's fine. I'm just kidding. That was not a knock at you. I mean, that used to happen. I don't think it's happened in a long time though. That brother discount used to be real. MCC still gets that discount clearly, but it's not. I don't think anybody else does. So, all right, moving on to the last trade. Raph gives up Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt, AJ Brown, David Montgomery to Brady for Brady's 26-2, Brady's 27-1, and Brady's 27-2.
And Xavier Legette. I think the other 2 dudes are toss-ins. I think Legette is worth mentioning.
I don't.
Okay.
I think Xavier Legette is absolute dog water, and I'm the one that drafted him. So,
I think he's worth rostering in a
I agree.
12-man league.
I agree with that statement.
So
He's a
if
roster. He's not.
If he's
a total
worth
roster.
rostering, then he's not. He needs to be mentioned. I don't even know who That's what Theo John. No, it's not Theo. That's the jerk who takes all James Cook's receptions in Buffalo.
Ty Johnson.
Yeah, and then the Brooks dude from Green Bay. Yeah, like those dudes are whatever.
Right.
But,
I mean, to be fair, like you're saying, he's worth rostering in 12-man league, which I agree, but I cut him earlier in the year. So like.
Well, not
worth
all
rostering,
of us have your roster, John. Not all of us have your roster.
So I have a multitude of issues with this deal.
Would you like me to go first?
Sure. Would you like me to give my monologue first, and then we can talk about it actually lay out what happened, or do you want to go and give your take, and then I'll tell you what actually happened?
I can. Let me just give my take. Cause I don't know what happened.
Okay.
Right. I don't really have any clue what happened. I don't love this trade for Brady. I don't really understand it. AJ Brown is obviously the top piece here, who has not looked well. He has looked every bit of an aging diva who's mad that his career is winding down. I think he has I think he'll pop a couple times, but I think his floor is really, really low by comparison to what it's been. I don't think he's the same player. And Montgomery, I think, is a good spot starter. I think he's good to fill in behind Jacobs. I was trying to get Montgomery earlier this year. I just have a soft spot for David Montgomery. Bill, the running back for Washington, that's a flyer. I mean, you want to sit him, that's fine. All the preseason hype didn't do had like one good game. So you want to sit him, that's fine. I don't really like to trade for Brady, especially giving up the value he gave up. When you look at Brady's roster, and I've talked about this with 4 other guys in the league, that Brady's roster never makes sense as to why Brady's always 7-4, 8-3, like always in the playoff hunt when it's JJ and some guys, not named Josh Jacobs.
I mean, do you want my answer to that? I can give you the answer to that.
But my whole point being, I don't really love the trade for Brady. I think Raph wins the trade here, because I think he got more value for AJ than I think he was going to get in any other scenario, personally. But anyway, there's that. That's
all
my
right,
take.
so my take
wins
on the
trade.
actual trade itself, I don't think he got bad value. I don't think a first and 2 seconds is. I think it's exactly what he should have gotten without JCM thrown in. I think that Brown is worth a first and a second.
Really?
I think he's a 28-year-old former wide receiver 1 in a dysfunctional offense, which we've seen before. And then when they get rid of this guy as the offensive coordinator, next year they go back to it. You don't know what it looks like. And he's still an absolute dominant football player. when he's given the opportunities and they throw him the ball. I.e., he complained enough and they threw him the football last week and look what happened. Like, it's not about the talent. It's not about anything else. It's about the fact that Philly is dysfunctional on offense, which is why Raph is selling, because he's not – he couldn't win this year. Like, I might have even sat on the team and figured it out and see what happened next year, and then if it didn't work out, I might have shipped. Like, that might have been my approach, because I think that Philly's that dysfunctional. Like, and you having Devonta, right? You have Devonta in this league. I think it's still not a bad deal. Like, I don't actually think that AJ's rise or fall actually even affects Devonta all that much. I think Devonta's been a bump this year because AJ hasn't, whatever the scheme is, I don't know if there's beef between Hurts and AJ. I don't know what it is. I don't think the guy calling plays is very good. I don't, at least compared to Kellen Moore, and that might just be Kellen Moore's a dog, and we didn't really know how good he was until, he was gone and he's with us. And now we look like a functional offense with Tyler Shuck, so, like, yay us. I am a believer in A.J. Brown still. And at 28 years old, you're not buying Devontae at 31. You're buying A.J. at 28. So if you get him at 29 and 30, if he's a top 15 guy at 29 and 30, this is a good trade. If he's not, then it's a bad trade. But for Brady, this is the last-ditch effort to try to make a championship. Like, I think that he understands that he's having an aging roster, and he took the last bullets that he had at an even valuation and got players for the even valuation. I'm not saying you're wrong in the evaluation of it and you don't like it for Brady. I'm not disagreeing there either. But for Brady's roster, for the run, this was a good trade. David Montgomery gives him an RB2 that he can start every week. He might not be a true RB2. He might not be a guy you want to start every week, but he's a guy that all right, this gives me depth at a place that I desperately need depth. And AJ does give you the pop, and the same thing, I know that I can start AJ Brown every week, and I'm not going to, if he screws up, he screws up. But I know that I'm going to start AJ Brown. So, like, I'm not mad at Brady for the valuation. I'm also not upset at Raph for getting this valuation if this was the only offer on the table. I'm not upset at that valuation. The only upset I have is the JCM thing. Because, again, Krosky Merritt doesn't make sense to throw into this trade. He's the youngest piece that he moved, and he hasn't had the year that you expected because Jaden Daniels has been hurt all year, and they're running Marcus Mariota. Nobody cares about Marcus Mariota throwing the football. So JSM's opportunities have been very few and far between to actually make a difference. So I don't understand moving Krosky Merritt for essentially nothing.
When did Jaden get hurt, you remember?
Like 3 weeks ago is when the elbow thing happened, but he was hurt before that. He's only played like 3 games.
Because he had his best stretch of games.
I mean, I can tell you.
Is week 3, 4, 5.
Mm-hmm.
From a point standpoint. He's got 10 week 3, 7 week 4, 28 week 5 against the Chargers.
So he played 3. He was out week 3, out week 4. Jaden Daniels played 5, 6, 7. Was banged up 8, came back for 9, and then had the elbow issue in week 9. And he's been out 10, 11 on the bye.
Wasn't JCM dinged in there too?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand why Raph moved him. I understand why he moved Monty and AJ, and I think he could have moved Monty and AJ without JCM. I think JCM was worth sitting on just because of the age. It fits the rebuild timeline. But yeah, go ahead. Read your monologue.
I did not actually write the full monologue. I wrote something, and I'm not going to do the whole thing. So I have vast problems with this trade. Because it involves me, and I don't want this to sound like it's because it involves me is why I'm upset. I am upset because of the standard and the integrity of what should be kept and what should happen. And if you disagree, that's fine. And if I just think you're wrong, and not necessarily you, I'm just in general. In my opinion, when you make trades to get the most value for your players. It does not matter who you're trading with. It does not, unless you are a contending team and you are trading to another contending team. When that happens, I would argue you shouldn't do it, basically at all, because you don't want to make the team you're trying to beat better. Unless it's some vast overpay that you feel like makes you that much better in the long run or something, you don't feel like it's going to help them and it's not going to matter when you make that trade. But you're going to make that tax exponentially greater because they're a contending team. When you're a blow-up team and you have decided to ship your year and potentially the next, not potentially, you are shipping the next, you take the most value, and you take the greatest, whoever's going to give me what they're going to give me, and you run with it. I offered for 4 of these players and essentially was told that trading with me is a disservice to the league. Verbatim. How is trading with me a disservice to the league, and what does it matter for you? Because literally what you're saying in that is that you're colluding with the rest of the league on your own. Because you're saying that now it's not about the league, it's about John can't win. We can't trade with you because you're too good. I'm sorry, last I checked, I have 0 titles. You have 2. So what are we talking about right now? I'm that good? Because again, I'm starting Ricky Pearsall this week. Like, I am making an all-in move. I am offering for these players. The one that I really needed and wanted was A.J. Brown above all else because I needed a receiver. So I made multiple offers for these people and I made an offer for Kyron and I put it out there. I'm not going to say everything that was said and all of that and stuff, but basically, like, I was told verbatim that it was a disservice to trade with me to the rest of the league, and essentially got given a Catan reference to where I'm so far ahead of everybody else that we all have to gang up on me so that I come back to the field. That's garbage. Absolute garbage. And Raph, I love you. This is not a personal thing. I think that the way that is viewed is completely unethical and completely disintegral, whatever you want to say, for the league. I think that's not okay. And everybody's going to say, well, if you have a rival and you have this, you should tax them. Okay, I'm not saying that you can't potentially tax me. I'm not saying that that can't happen. But I also think that I literally paid a tax, offered a bigger tax, and was turned down to take a lesser offer. So I offered for Kyron and AJ. My offer was not good. I offered a first and a second for both players. Didn't know where Raph was. Offered for both. He said the value wasn't that far off. So, okay, he didn't like 26s. Understood. Let's work that. I can work from that. I have other picks. He trades Kyron before I get an answer. Before I even get a counter, he trades Kyron. Cool. I wanted Kyron. Kyron makes me better. He was basically going to replace be that Brees guy, and I have the assets to make that move, so it was fine. That was my thought process. I wanted no part of Derrick Henry. I only wanted Saquon if I was getting AJ. So when we talk about the Saquon Henry stuff, like I told you earlier, I literally told him to accept that offer. We're not even having a conversation. That's as good as you're going to get, and take it, because I don't want to pay that. And I don't need those two. I don't need the 2 running backs. I want the receiver. So then we come to talking about AJ and Monty. I get told the offer on the table is a 1 and a 2 and a 2 for those 2 guys. That's what I was told. Sorry. Yes, a 1, a 2, and a 2 for those 2 guys. That's what I was told. I then immediately declined. I'm like, I don't want to pay that price. And then I started thinking, I'm like, well, I could afford to pay this price, and I have AJ. So I tell him back. I was like, look, give me a second. Let me think about it. Let's see what I want to do. And then I respond, okay, like I want in. What do I have to pay more than that to beat that? Like I'll throw in a 4th. If that's what the 4th is, I'll move around, whatever. All my picks were in 26 that I offered. The response is, I don't value 26. I value the 27 and 28s more. Okay, I have those 2. So what are we looking for? Like I have those as well. I get responded with, I have to pay 2 first for just those 2 players, AJ and Monty. Then we trade AJ Monty and JCM for less than the 2 firsts that I had to pay for just 2 players. Because I'm too far out in front, you can't trade with me, whatever that is. I don't want to pay 2 firsts for those 2 players. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do that. But then you traded, if you would have traded Monty and AJ for the 1st and 2 seconds here, I really wouldn't even have a gripe. I wouldn't, because I think a 1st and 2 seconds is about equal to 1 and 1, and you would have taxed me for the 1 and 1. Fair enough. The JCM throw in for me is what tips it, and you can talk about what the value is for JCM again. JCM actually fits his timeline, and JCM is a throw in to a player that desperately needs running backs. So we toss JCM to our boy so that we can do this. And Brady, this actually has nothing to do with you, because I don't think that you had anything to do with it. I think that you're doing everything you're supposed to do to get this back. I just think that Raph helped you out because he wants to see you be successful, and anybody but John is the mentality of Raph in this league. That's what I think. Whether he said that to somebody or not, that's the way my exchanges made me feel, and that's the way that this interaction for this entire thing made me feel. Which to me, again, is absolute garbage. Like, I'm not a fan. I'm not here for that. Like, my monologue went along to the thing of like I shouldn't, because what's going to happen is I'm going to do this. These are the things I'm going to say, and we're going to go to it ain't that serious. That's going to be the thing. It ain't that serious, right? That's always the marker that we get back. It ain't that serious. Well, it's always that serious when it's for Raph. It doesn't seem to feel that way when it's me or when it's someone else, right? Like it was that serious when expansion happened. It was that serious when other things happened, but it's not serious when like, we're giving away players to other people. I just think it's not cool. I think you trade with who gives you the best offer. And again, it's over. It's done with. I moved on. I'm a little petty about it. I'm a little aggravated about it because I don't have AJ Brown on my team. But this is not a personal thing. I'm not sowing discord in the league because I am very open about what it is. I have not sent anything to anybody. I have not except for Cliff, because I was frustrated and I sent everything to Cliff as this is collusion and talk me down because I don't want this to go through because these are my reasons and these are the examples. And me and Cliff talked about it and we came to the same agreement. Even if I'm right, there's no way to police this and there's no way to deal with this. This is just part of what fantasy football is. I'm just standing on a higher ground saying that this is not the way that you're supposed to run, not the way you're supposed to operate from an integrity standpoint in a fantasy league. That's my opinion. Now, is that wrong? Maybe. I'm not mad that I didn't get a trade. I'm mad that somebody gave up less for what I actually offered. I'm not okay with that. So that's where my whole shebang went. There's my monologue. I did not actually write that out. That was more like off the cuff. Again, I don't want it to seem like, Raph, I'm not actually angry with you, if that makes sense. I'm just angry that this is the way that it happened and you're the person that did it. So it just is what it is. I just think that we keep having these same conversations and at some point what are we doing or talking about? Or, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I have a little blinders on there to where I just assume there's something bad behind it. But I don't think that this was collusion between Raph and Brady. I think that this was Raph didn't want to trade with me and also got to make Brady better in the process, which technically is collusion. But I don't think that it was hey, we need to collude to help me. I don't think that that's what happened. I don't think that is what happened. I just think that inadvertently it becomes
Well, I think
collusion.
we're not going to help a player. We're not going to help a team because they're too good is not a Raph thing. It's a league thing because it's been done to me.
Yeah, fair. That's kind of my point there. And that's why I want to make this very clear. I am not necessarily attacking only Raph. I'm not attacking Raph the person. I'm attacking the action that this is what it was. Anybody that does this it's unacceptable.
Year one.
I've never done that in any league.
Year one, I make a trade offer right before the deadline for Saquon.
Mm-hmm.
And you can go look who had him. I'm not going to say it. Just
right. I don't even know.
I make an offer for Saquon.
Yeah.
It was a Godfather size offer.
Yeah.
And the quote was, this is a quote, and I remember because I remember being just about as annoyed. It was, this is by far the best offer I've gotten. Nobody's close. But I can't trade with you. Your team's already too good.
Right, which is, I just think that that's insane.
I agree with you. I think it's insane.
I think that is just not okay.
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that premise at all. I think you'll look back and be glad you didn't get this trade because I'm not. I think AJ is done. That's me, and most of my takes are wrong. But
your takes aren't wrong in that spot, and you always. But which is weird that you're taking that stance at this trade because you're always the one essentially telling me that I need to be a spender in certain situations.
Yes.
To go get a guy. This is that moment that I needed a guy.
Right.
And it was the most available person. Also, to everybody, if you have a wide receiver that's worth anything, I'm willing to pay for him because I currently need a wide receiver that I feel good about to at least have some depth, and I currently have the most picks of anybody in the league. Just in case somebody wants to know or wants to take a look. It's me. Pick me. If you're looking to sell a receiver, I'm looking to buy. So I just think that, again, in that moment, for that player, again, I have AJ higher than probably most other people.
Well, it fits. Yeah, it's similar to the John deal. John grabbing Henry and Barkley. That's a guy that bolsters your team right now because you need a guy to plug and play. And if you get more life out of him next year, that's lagniappe. That's great. That's awesome. But it's the going right now, which I understand. I get that part.
And the deal is I'm not selling my treasure trove here. I was selling 2 picks, a third pick, right? Like I was giving up 2 seconds on a first. I still had 4 firsts in this.
Right.
Three of them project into the top 5. Now, if you make the playoffs, cool, it's not, and that's
Now,
okay.
I do want to make this known.
2 of the top 4.
I do want to make this known because they probably already got off the podcast.
Yeah, probably, but it's okay.
But I'll make this known. Following the expansion,
Mm-hmm.
actually went to you
Mm-hmm.
and tried to collude.
Absolutely, multiple times.
I was done. I wanted to destroy the whole thing, and I was trying to figure out a way to just implode the whole league because I was so mad. And we didn't. Why? Because John said no. That's why.
I did.
And so I think that needs to be noted that I don't think he's in here trying to do any of those crazy things. And he's a better fantasy. He's got better fantasy. He's got much better integrity in the multiverse than I do, apparently. In the Dynastyverse.
And again, like I want to make this very clear. Like, Raph, I'm not actually angry at you. You're just the person that happened to do the thing that makes me angry. It's more the action, and like I've said, like I just think that viewpoint in fantasy football, in particular in Dynasty, because again, everything's changes so much. It's not like you made this move in a redraft. If you make this move in a redraft and say, hey, I can't trade with you, okay, I actually understand that because it's a redraft, it's a 1-year thing. This is what we're viewing it as, whatever. But it's a Dynasty. Like, you don't know what it looks like in a year from now. Like, Raph went from the best team to out of it. So like, it is what it is. So I don't know. That's just my opinion on it. I don't want to keep dragging this on. I said my piece. I'm good, y'all. We're moving on. Like, I'm good. I'm going to make this playoff push. Everybody knows I'll lose in the second round anyway because I'm going to have a bye. But somebody will upset me probably because of some bonus points or something. But yeah. So it is what it is. It's been a good week. It's going to be a fun week with everybody playing. The trades were awesome, honestly. Like, even though I was hating on you a little bit there, Raph, like, it's really just fun to kind of like talk through them. And they are fantastic for the league because movement is always good. This is still the most active league that I'm in, and everybody knows I'm in 50 of them. So it's also really fun. So yeah, thanks for that, everybody. Thanks for the thing. Raph, you did blow my mind. I never thought you'd actually do this blow up. So like, again, also props to kind of trying something new, which is going to be.
I do think it's worth noting. My man went and got 11 first and seconds.
I love it.
That's impressive.
I love it. That's how you blow up. When you blow up, you blow up. That's the deal. That's
impressive.
At least that's my opinion. So, anyway,
and a fourth. He got a fourth too. Yeah.
The fourth matters, dude. I'm telling you.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just.
I mean, listen. To be fair, again, right? You know where I drafted Jackson Dart this year? The 4-4 or the whatever. I got him in the 4th.
I get it.
Like, Jackson Dart is worth. It is worth. So, in closing, that's it for another edition of the MFFP, man. I'm looking forward to another great week. This is going to be amazing to watch. Actually, like, kind of figure it out and see what happens. Thanks for short notice. Being awesome, showing up, letting me show up, really, because we're in the garage hanging out. And yeah, man, until next time, thanks fellas for listening. Peace.